You want to talk about a show that set women back is The View. There are so many brilliant women out there. None of them are on The View. None of them have gone near the set of The View. I mean, they have brought in the lowest tier of the, what is it, the Y chromosome?
No, double
X.
Okay. Double X.
They brought in the lowest of the double X's for that one. It's rough.
Why doesn't The View have any trans women on it?
Great point. It has a lot of women that look trans, but none of them.
Joe Rogan and Tim Dillon just went full beast mode on The View hosts, and it's pure comedy gold. Picture this. 2 guys, 0 filter, and a whole lot of sarcasm, tearing into the panel like there's no tomorrow. If you ever want to see The View get roasted harder than a marshmallow on a campfire, you're in for a treat. Trust me, this is one of those moments you'll want to replay. Let's dive in.
My suggestive thing for The View, this is a suggestion I have. Men.
No chance.
Just men on the show.
But women watch it. See, that's the thing. It's like, it's a lot of it is women that are home, right? During that time. It airs during the day.
What if we put the women in the audience and let the men discuss the issues? This is just an idea I have for ABC, corporate.
Well, clearly.
Or
The
have
View,
one woman serve everyone drinks and give her a quick opinion. Quick. In and out. Just
and
go
then
like.
the guys go, ah.
Just go. She walks in. She goes, yeah, Israel seems like it's. You go, thanks. And then they keep going. I think that's a happy.
All right, so here's the deal. Joe Rogan and Tim Dillon, the comedic duo of our generation, the modern-day gladiators of satire, decide to have a field day with The View hosts. Now, you'd think these ladies, known for their overly dramatic takes on current events and occasionally towing a line between clueless and downright comical, might get the benefit of some measured critique. But nope, not when Rogan and Dillon are involved.
See, Gabbard got on to defend herself, and Joy Behar starts panicking and going over her notes while Tulsi is refuting everything that she said.
Yeah, I mean, Joy Behar, like, again, these people have dementia. These are people who, like, should not be allowed out of the house. They have a national platform. I mean, it is crazy. They have no idea. These people have never read, like, a book.
Imagine, if you will, The View, a show that somehow manages to air every day, always with the same scripted outrage, recycled opinions, and a general atmosphere that feels like the intellectual equivalent of running your fingers down a chalkboard. And then here comes Rogan, this bald, tattooed podcast king who spent years tearing down the walls of the mainstream media's echo chamber, followed closely by Tim Dillon, the guy who could turn a visit to a coffee shop into a full-scale roast battle. Together, they're about to turn The View into a punchline so many times that even the hosts might start questioning their life choices.
So, I mean, The View has to be, if you average out The View hosts, among the dumbest people on television. And so it's like they say the thing that people are thinking, but they say it very directly, so they expose whatever truth. But
I don't think some of them are dumb.
You don't think so?
No, I don't think Sunny Hostin.
You think it's deliberate?
I think she's ideologically driven, and they have blinders on, for sure. I don't think Sunny's dumb. But Whoopi is certainly not the brightest person. And what she just said just doesn't...
So, let's talk about why Rogan and Dillon even bother. Because let's be real, The View is pretty much the living, breathing example of everything that's wrong with daytime TV. It's like a car crash, except there's no exciting explosion, just slow-motion nonsense. Picture it. Whoopi Goldberg, a former actress turned talk show host who, for some reason, has all the political wisdom of fortune cookie, trying to debate Joe Rogan. It's like watching a hamster try to square off with a lion. It's adorable for about 10 seconds, until it gets sad.
Grew up, daytime TV was about, like, seasonal cupcake recipes.
Yeah.
Why are we doing the Holocaust at 11 a.m.? It's 11 in the morning. Why are we doing the Holocaust? Calm down. Daytime TV is for people that get into the day. We don't need to be doing genocide early. Like, relax.
I heard you put the call in to get Whoopi out of there.
I did, because I wanted her to take a time.
But Rogan? Oh, he's not having it. This man is no stranger to dismantling the absurdities of Hollywood and media alike. He spent years in the cage of political commentary, dodging punches from every direction, only to come out stronger. So when he turns his attention to The View, you know it's going to be brutal. He doesn't do nuance. He doesn't do diplomacy. He doesn't tiptoe around the issues. No, Joe doesn't walk into the room, sit politely, and wait for the right moment to make his point. He bulldozes in, knocks over furniture, and then calmly explains why The View is about as useful as a screen door on a submarine. And then there's Tim Dillon. Let's not forget about him. This man is a walking, talking absurdity machine. If Joe Rogan is the scalpel, cutting to the nonsense, Tim Dillon is the wrecking ball, smashing it to smithereens. Dillon's got a knack for taking things to a whole new level. If Rogan is the voice of reason, albeit a very loud and sarcastic one, Dillon's more like that friend who pushes the envelope so far that it turns into a new dimension.
Arguably, like, the fans, the real fans of The View that are like, oh, these ladies are on point. Most of those people can't leave the house. Like, they're probably immobile.
Right. Because their mom's taking their kids to school, and that's, yeah.
It's a very strange show, but it's fun to watch. It's just fun to watch them.
It's good entertainment.
Yeah.
Undoubtedly.
Well, they're just, it's interesting because I think Sunny's very intelligent, but she's ideologically capped.
When Tim Dillon is on the mic, you don't just hear the critique, you feel the roasting. He doesn't just point out hypocrisy, he makes it look like the punchline of a stand-up show. Now, let's dive into how these two actually eviscerate The View. First, the women of The View, who are so fond of spouting their so-called wisdom, are at best out of their depth. We all know the drill by now. You got Whoopi, who might as well be the embodiment of, I used to be relevant, but now I'm here to talk about politics because I'm on TV. You got Joy Behar, who might as well have been created in a lab to represent that Ann at family gatherings who can never stop talking about politics, even if she knows absolutely nothing about the subject. Then there's Sunny Hostin, whose opinions seem to float in midair with no real anchor or substantial argument. And let's not forget Meghan McCain, who honestly is like a human megaphone for every tired conservative take. Watching them all debate is like watching 5 people argue about what flavored chips is the most politically correct. It's exhausting.
That's why people like our show, because they know that we are checked by ABC News. But
we're checked by everybody.
Yeah, I mean, if we're wrong, we have, the legal note here.
The human legal note.
We went from Walter Cronkite, basically, to this guy, Joe Rogan, who believes in dragons. I checked it. He
believes in dragons?
He believes in dragons.
Did you triple source that?
Yes, I did.
Worried about losing your job, and you're worried about podcasts taking over, and who's the source of news, and we said Donald Trump was Hitler, but half the country disagreed with us, and he won, and this is and Joe Rogan believes in dragons.
When Rogan and Dillon hear this nonsense, they're like 2 sharks circling a pool full of goldfish. Rogan takes the first swipe. Is this really the best the left has to offer? A bunch of people who can't even agree on basic facts, but somehow think they got the answers to the world's problems. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and assume that, just like everything else on TV, this is just a big rating stunt, because I can't imagine they actually believe the stuff they say. But Rogan doesn't just stop at throwing shade. Oh no, he goes further. He cuts straight through the nonsense with facts, because, facts are kind of Rogan's thing. For example, when the View hosts start waxing poetic about the greatness of social programs or the utopia of progressive policies, Rogan's like, hold up, you're talking about policies that sound good in theory, but fail miserably in practice. You can't keep acting like the government is some sort of all-knowing, benevolent force when we got cities being overrun with crime and homelessness because of misguided liberal policies. Maybe it's time to look at the results, not the talking points.
It's not a well thought out. It's like if you had an idea for a premise and it was totally baked and half baked, and you went on stage with it and it's nothing.
Just
there.
go for it. Yeah,
there's nothing there. Sometimes comics do that.
Yeah, and the other question is then: is that representative of a big constituency? I think probably yes.
Well, a lot of
MSNBC viewers are probably also thinking.
I don't even think the MSNBC viewers. I think they're a little bit more sophisticated than that.
Yeah.
This is like low information, blue no matter who, like older housewives who are mad at the world. That's the appeal that Whoopi Goldberg.
Now, just as you think Rogan's demolished the set, in comes Tim Dillon, who doesn't even wait for a cue. He just barrels through with his trademark blend of outrageous humor and sarcasm. Dillon begins. The View is like that one uncle at Thanksgiving who talks about how great the 70s were, then proceeds to mention how nobody's got a work ethic anymore. Okay, Tim, we get it. You missed the good old days when everything was better, and you still can't get your head around why Netflix is so popular. But The View? Let's be real, this isn't a political show. This is a circus, and they're all the clowns. Dillon doesn't stop there, though. He goes into overdrive, focusing on how the hosts can't seem to get through a single conversation without circling back to their personal feelings rather than objective reality. It's like watching a group of people who think they're solving world hunger by arguing over whether quinoa is actually a superfood. These people, he says, are like the Yelp reviewers of political discourse. They don't know anything, but they'll tell you exactly how they feel about it.
Left the View.
Well, she's free to be on your show now.
We wish her well.
Imagine you as her on your show interviewing her.
I would love to interview her as her, but I think there's such a
Small chance?
Small chance.
So you're saying there's a chance?
That's going to happen. Yes, there is a chance, but it's not big.
What if I helped her? What if I was there? What if I was there, like, as a moderator?
Any, you want to organize it, I'll show up.
I would do it.
I absolutely will.
But you and her
up.
together on this show.
Well, I don't think I should do it the whole time, but I think it'd be fun to interview her for 5 minutes and then say, hey, Megan, I get it. I also hate Joy Behar. So I don't love you, but I also hate that squawking bird. So I hate.
At this point, you're sitting there thinking, okay, this roast can't get any better. But it does. Rogan chimes in with his usual deadpan delivery. The thing about The View is that they can't ever see beyond their own little echo chamber. It's like they're so far removed from the real world that they think their opinions actually matter to people who, aren't living in a bubble. Dillon, of course, picks up where Rogan left off, saying, it's like this strange, awkward dinner party where everyone's pretending to have a good time, but you're really just waiting for it to end so you can go home and binge watch something that doesn't make your brain rot. And with that, he raises the stakes even higher by taking aim at their lack of self-awareness. Look at them. Nobody on that panel is ever going to admit when they're wrong. They're like walking, talking, I told you so machines. When Rogan and Dillon team up, it's like watching a comedy version of a wrecking ball and a grenade decide to get together and solve world problems. Except the only problem they're solving is how to absolutely obliterate The View hosts.
Saw you on The View.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's been overwhelming my past couple days. So I just went in there, did my thing. I had no idea what to expect. I didn't know who Sunny Hostin was. I actually still really don't know. So I wasn't expecting necessarily for her to kind of try to ambush me in that way and attack my character in that way.
Well, it is the show that people love to hate.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
They get so much hate watching viral clips of them saying ridiculous things. I mean,
yeah.
it is a rabies-infested henhouse.
These two feed off each other's energy like a couple of caffeine addicts as Starbucks drive-thru, bouncing between reasoned sarcasm and full-blown absurdity. Rogan will calmly drop some bombshell logic, while Dillon's just there throwing something so ridiculous it could only make sense in their world. It's a perfect balance, really, a yin and yang of brutal truth, wild, off-the-wall humor. That creates a comedic storm no one can escape from. Take, for example, Rogan's cool, calculated approach to dismantling The View's panel. The guy's a master dissecting woke talking points, offering razor-sharp critiques of liberal elites with the calmness of someone explaining how to tie their shoes. It's almost clinical. He just cuts to the core of the absurdity. But before you can even finish applauding the man's intellectual precision, here comes Tim Dillon sliding into the conversation like a wrecking ball on roller skates. He'll take Rogan's point about media hypocrisy and spin it into something so over the top that you're not sure whether to laugh or just call a mental health hotline for him. He's the human equivalent of a meme, exaggerated, absurd, and impossible to ignore. And that's when the magic happens. Rogan will drop a cold, hard truth bomb. Dillon will immediately follow with a metaphor that involves something like a hamster running for president. The audience can't even catch their breath from the one-liner before they're back in the ring for round two. It's this contrast that keeps viewers on their toes. The bigger picture. This tag team dynamic isn't just about comedic timing. It's about turning the tables on The View, and by extension, the entire establishment media. Rogan's logical take exposes the glaring inconsistencies in the liberal media's portrayal of reality. Dillon's comedic chaos hold a mirror up to how ridiculous things have become. Rogan's critique lands with the weight of 1,000 logical arguments. Dillon's absurdity hits like a hammer to the forehead. They're a comedic tag team that could teach any mainstream media outlet a thing or two about true commentary. Why this matters. This is more than just entertainment. It's a cultural shift. Rogan and Dillon aren't just comedians making fun of The View. They're challenging the very fabric of how mainstream narratives are shaped. In a world where most of the media follows the same tired script, these two have built platforms where they speak for the people who feel completely alienated by the talking heads on daytime TV. Rogan's podcast is a safe haven for anyone tired of hearing the same recycled opinions on every cable news channel. Dillon's humor isn't just for laughs. It's a wake-up call, an invitation to stop taking the absurdities of modern media too seriously. In a way, what they're doing here isn't just about mocking The View. It's about creating an alternative space for people to hear different voices and opinions, without the sugar-coated political correctness. Their comedic destruction of the mainstream narrative is, in essence, a challenge to the status quo, a wake-up call to anyone who thinks the media always has the answers. They're saying, hey, if we can mock this, maybe you should rethink what you're taking seriously. And honestly, it's about time someone did. The grand finale. But of course, it wouldn't be a Rogan Dillon roast without some wild exaggeration to finish off the segment. Rogan looks at Dillon and says, if I wanted to watch a group of people argue about things they don't understand and pretend they're solving the world problems, I'd just watch a family reunion. Dillon, never missing a beat, adds, or a college debate team on how to solve climate change by banning plastic straws. By now, the view has been completely obliterated. It's like watching a car crash in slow motion, except there's no sympathy for the victims, just pure, unfiltered entertainment. Rogan and Dillon have turned this roast into an art form, a masterclass in how to take down an institution built on vacuous opinions and puffed up self-importance. The takeaway. What's the takeaway from this? Well, folks, if anything, Rogan and Dillon's roasting of The View isn't just funny, it's necessary. They're showing us all that it's okay to laugh at the ridiculousness of mainstream media. They've done what so few people are brave enough to do, call out the obvious absurdities, and make it into something worth watching. And let's be real, after this roast, it's going to take a lot more than a table full of panelists to beat these guys in the art of political commentary. So let's all give a round of applause for Joe Rogan and Tim Dillon, who not only saved us from a view, but also provided us with a laugh-out-loud breakdown of everything that's wrong with it. And if you disagree, well, maybe it's time to take a good, hard look in the mirror